So that was the multiplexing of control file which we saw. Now there might be another task which you might come up while you're working as a DBA, which is relocating of control file. Say again the same requirement, same issue or requirement, that the storage team saw that the file system is kind of not working correctly, and he suggests that we will give you a new file system and you'll have to migrate everything to the new file system so that we can get rid of that file system, or we can fix that file system by cleaning it and reformatting that one, right? For that, again we might have to relocate the control file. So to relocate the control file, again database should be no mount state. Never keep, for control file maintenance, don't put in mount state. Startup no mount. Then you do something like this. This is the old location of the control file. Okay, control file 01 old location. Then the new location, control file 02 old location, new location. Then control file 03 old location, and this is new location. Then scope is equal to sp file. So this will go and update the locations of the control file in the sp file. Now when you put that old location, new location, right, before that there is another point. Copy the control files from old location to new location. So you have to do that one. So when you do this one, you have the old location with the file names and new location with the file name. You just run this command and you just start up force. So what it will do is it will go and look for this control files in the new location, and it will start your database. That is how you relocate the control files. If you want to create a new control file, say for example something happened and you lost the control file, something happened at storage level, or somebody deleted the control file by mistake. Now we don't have the control file. Now your first option to get the control file would be if you have a backup of the control file, which is taken by the utility which is called as a rman. Now rman utility will run only if you tell it to run. It will not magically come and run that one. Say for some reason that database, nobody set up the rman backups for the database. In that case, what can you do? So there are few options which we can try. First one is a create control file statement. So this is the kind of a standard statement to create a control file, right? So here you have to do some changes. You can get this create control file statement from directly from Google also. For example, if I want to say look for, I'm in that situation, I want to create a new control file, create control file in Oracle example. Okay, just go to Oracle document. Oracle documents are most of the times all lengthy. So here at the end, you see this. So it says start up your database in no mount. Then you create the control file using this syntax. Okay, you just copy the syntax. You don't need to run the same thing. You copy the syntax. You come to Notepad, paste it. This is your database name. If your database name is prod, just put the name as prod. And I told you, right, the limit on the max log files here it's 32. If you don't know how much was the limit, just put 32, or else see like how many data files you have in your database. If you have that information, if you don't have that information, easiest way to find out the data files is you just go hunting, right? So this df minus kh will give you all the mount points. So when you are working in that particular environment, you kind of recognize what mount point it might be. So here I think it might be in cd/home. So I go there, then I do ls. There is only one directory. I go in here. So what I'm telling you is worst case scenario where you don't have any information. Somewhere or this other place you will have some information of the location of data files and online to log files. This is worst case scenario. So here many directories are there. You can try to eliminate desktop, downloads, documents, patches, pictures, all these are. So most probably CD Oracle is something of interest for me. I go here. This does not look like, so I go back and which one, cd app I think. ls. So here are my online data logs, looks like online data log.log. Then I go to Oracle folder and Ora data. Generally all the data files end up in Ora data folder. If nobody changed the structure, by default it goes in Ora data folder, ls. And here it will be your database name, and these are your data files. Okay, this is one way of finding. Another easy way of finding is if you know the location of your um, alert log. Say they deleted the control file, but for some good reason you still have the access to the database. Quickly you do show parameter dump and exit from here, and you go to that location. The diag folder is your interest folder of interest. Diag rdbms database name and in the trace folder. Okay, so this is your location. Diag is where it all starts. This is Oracle base. This location will be same. From here, this after this location you have a folder called diag, you have a folder called Ora data files go here, trace files goes here, binaries go here. So kind of it branches out at this point of time, at this location. Okay, here you have your alert log in the trace folder. In the alert log you will be able to find your data file locations. So here when your database starts, it dumps your p file. So from p file you'll get your control file. From the dump of p file you get a control file locations. Okay, and then as you see further, you can just keep on reading this control file, or you can just say like if you know that your data files were named with dbf, try to search for how to search this file. You put a forward slash and type whatever you want to search. So I am not able to do find it. Then I try to search for log. This is my location of my redo log. Okay, I found the location of your redo log. So if you did any maintenance on the data file, you try to create a new data file or anything, that entry will be there in the alert log. So you just have to go searching for it. Generally we always try to take a backup of the control file. If you don't have backup of a control file, you try to it's your creativity, right? So you want to be in less trouble when such kind of scenarios happen. So what you generally do is just pull the data file information, read log information, and keep it handy somewhere for all the databases you are handling. A few times you might be handling a lot of databases, but when there is a lot of databases, every database will follow a particular format. So all data files will go into this location only, all redo logs go into this location only. So that kind of format will be there for companies who have more databases. So if you know about one database, then you know that all other databases would be of similar structure, and you can figure out. So once you know that location, you just update that locations here. 1 2, if you have 3 redo logs, you just make a copy of this one and put in third line here, put a comma. It will be group 3 and size, then all the data file locations and character set, and just copy this one and start your database in no mount mode and run that command. You should be able to create the control file for you. And after control file is created, try to mount the database. If database mounts, you are well and good, you can open the database. So that is how we create a control file. Now to create a control file, you might need all this information, right? Basically the select log file names, data file names, and location of the control file. So that few times, like I said, companies have a specific structure, or else you try to be smart and think well in advance and try to collect that information for yourself. So that is how you create a new control file. Now backing up of control file. So to avoid such scenarios, you can even take a backup of the control file. So these are two different ways to back up the control file. One is using this alter database backup control file to and give the location of the control file. Let's try to do this one. Okay, I'll try to create a control file in this location only. Okay, so alter database backup control file 2, I'll give this location, or I can give control underscore backup dot ctl. So it created a control file. If I go here and do ls control star, it shows me that backup of the control file. Now this is just a backup. This is not updated constantly because you have not put this information in the SP file and you have not restarted the database. This is just a backup. You can keep it handy just as a reference. There is another way of creating a backup of the control file, which is nothing but alter database backup control file to trace. So what this particular command does is it gives you that command which you use to create control file. So let's see how this one creates. So when you run this command, it will basically create a trace file. So we'll run this one, alter database backup control file to trace. So when I said backup control file to trace, it is basically creating that backup of control file in this trace directory. So where your alert log exists. So here you come and do ls minus ltr. So it will give you the latest names of the trace file. Always the trace file created by database for some specific reason will have this underscore this aura in between. It will not put a process name. This is a process name, right? M1 process, DBRM process, or where is our log writer process, VKRM, all these are processes, but here it will put aura, and our file of interest will be this aura, and it should be ending with .trc. The TRM files are not used anytime. Only Oracle support will use that one. We don't need that files. So I do a VI of this backup, and here you will see that command here. You see here, create control file, all this, and here everything is updated correctly. You have that all the data file locations correct, like whatever it is, redo log file locations. So if you just do this command and copy this trace file also, still you are good. You will have that information of creating the control file over here. All you need to do is just copy this one, connect to SQL Plus and startup no mount, create control file. It will create a control file for you. Yeah, so that is how you create a take a backup of the control file to create a copy of that for a later time. So where all you will get the information of control file? There are different views available. So $v database, $v control file, $v record file section, and $v parameter. $v parameter is nothing but the value which you get when you do show parameter. Show parameter is basically going and getting that information from this view. So $v parameter view has all that information in there. When you do show parameter control, it will go to this view and it will read that one particular row of information and put it on your screen. Similarly, you have record file section, $v control file, and $v database. Okay, so these views have information of the control files. Whenever you want to check for some information of control file, you can remember of this one. You can create a cheat sheet for yourself, like all these views where when you need some information, where exactly you have to go. Create a cheat sheet for just for control files, how to create a control file, syntax to create a control file, views in which you will get the information of the control file, and some notes about control file, like what is control file, what all information it has. So all these are kind of interview questions. Where will you get in control file information? How will you create a multiplexing of control file? How will you take a backup of control file? Give me two ways to take a backup of control file. So all these are kind of interview questions, right? So they can ask you, give me the steps. How do you make a copy of control file? Do you need to keep the database in or else they can ask something like, can you make a copy of control file when your database is up and running? Yes, we can make a copy of control file, but you cannot use that control file to use by the database. It will just be a copy, but you cannot use that control file for the current database running. If you want to use a particular control file, you have to put the database in no mount mode, and then you have to use that control file. So this is all about control files. Any questions on this one?
No.
Yeah. So not much comes. You won't be really touching the control file all the time, but it is an important file. When it goes missing, somebody deletes it, it's a panic situation. And if you know this basic thing, then you will be the one who saves the day, right? So just a few commands, keep it handy. In the panic situation, even your mind will not work. So in that case, you can make use of those commands.